Okay, we're going to do our monthly meeting first, and then we'll go into the public hearing. Did the board have any issues as far as the invoices that were paid?
No.
You all set with them, Lee?
Yes.
Okay. Al, you all set with them?
No.
Raymond, you need to sign this pay rec for the pump station ragging study that was done. So I can get that to Augusta, please. Today's 15th. Thank you. Letter was sent to the town of Vassalboro. I sent a letter to the town of Vassalboro requesting $200,000 in TIF funding to help with debt service. The town has some questions which needs answers. I got one bunch of the questions done. I gave them to Aaron tonight to forward to the select board. I'm working on another page of questions, which hopefully I'll have done with help soon.
How does this go? Do we ask questions at the end, or as we go, do we raise our hand? I'm just not familiar with the forum.
That makes two of us.
Okay.
So if you have a question, feel free.
In terms of TIF money, do we know what the probability of that is? And I'm sorry, how much was the ask request?
200,000.
200,000. Do we know when we'll have a response to that and what the probability of that is that will be allocated?
I believe that there's a discussion next Thursday, right? In regards to TIF funding from the select board.
Does that help if we have a presence there? Is there anything that we can do as citizens to assist with kind of reaffirming that's something that the community is actively in support of?
Well, I'm sure that the more people that show up and ask questions, you know, the better off it's going to be.
And you think that meeting's next week?
Next Thursday,
Yeah, can I address that?
please.
So, the select board has an executive session scheduled for next Thursday. So we're gonna be discussing this with the town attorney. It'll be, behind closed doors. And depending on, what the outcome of that discussion is, there could be some discussion. Okay?
With TIP funds, is there any incentivization for that to go to one project versus another? I kind of looked up a slideshow of TIP for Dummies, and it made it seem as though wherever the money was kind of invested or spent, that the town can increase the property tax base and generate revenue that way. So would there be any less incentive for the town to allocate funds for this purpose?
I would defer to, we're looking at we have questions that we've addressed to the sanitary district. We haven't received answers to those questions because they've asked for those funds. And we want to make sure that it meets the parameters of what those funds are intended for.
Okay.
So until we get the details as far as how we can connect the dots, I can't really answer that question right now.
But we have received TIP funds to date, correct?
We don't necessarily receive funds. My understanding it's kind of based on assessment and that sort of thing. So it's not like we don't get a check, so to speak.
Yep, you receive an allocation. But I mean, for the project in general, have we received TIP funds to date for it? In the past?
We haven't received, I haven't applied for any TIF funds since 2020. So,
I was just thinking if it had been determined as an eligible expense before, maybe that would be encouraging for this request.
Yeah, I think the answer is that the town has granted TIF funds for the project in the past.
So it appears that the town has put about $1.5 million towards the sanitary district, starting back in 2015, 60,000, 145,000 in 16, 91,000 in 18, 100,000 in 19, 72,000, actually about 132,000 in 2020, and about $85,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funds, so for a total of 1.5 million.
Drop in the bucket.
Good to know. That's been helpful.
Oh, yeah, and one more thing. You can all look at the, what's written about the tax increment financing district development programs on our website. And it focuses on the natural gas line pipeline municipal development and talks about the TIF district development program. So if, I would encourage you to look at that and see if you can connect the dots for yourselves to see how, how we can navigate through this.
Thank you.
More eyes, more chances.
I received a phone call from Pitney Bowes. We have a mail machine with them. And the U.S. Postal Service is trying to do away with the certified mail as far as the little green cards and the other stuff that you need to attach to the envelope. So I have a lease invoice there that, if it's approved, they will send me the information that I need, and it's all going to be electronic, instead of the green cards and ripping them off and signing them and all that. So that's we paid $222 a quarter for the postage machine now. And I believe it's going to be like another $200 or so for this other piece per quarter,
On top of what we pay?
on top of what we pay for the postage machine. But by doing it this way, it's going to save us like $1.33 per envelope that I send out certified mail. Is that something the board's in agreement with?
So it's gonna be how much, 400 something?
A quarter, yeah.
I'm going to get no choice.
And how much is that more than what we're currently paying per quarter?
I do close to $1,000 in postage sending out certified mail per quarter.
Okay, so,
And
you
there's
know,
a-
roughly how long till this extra is paid off and we're actually saving money?
I don't know if it gets paid off because it's a lease invoice, Lee.
Okay,
It's just something that we keep having until we decide to cancel.
okay.
Is the board okay with going that route?
So, we're gonna save, how many you put on a quarter? I mean,
Certified mails?
yeah,
I sent out 93 certified mail letters. That's not the number of people that I leaned. But when I do the lien process, I have to go out to the registry of deeds and find out if there's any mortgage holders out there. And then all those mortgage holders get the liens and anybody else that's out there. So I just mailed out like 93 certified mail.
How many
liens.
liens do you have at the moment?
Right.
We have 54 outstanding liens right now.
Out of how many people? Out of how many people?
200, but this is per
Wow.
quarter. Well, total, from quarter 2, 2022 to quarter 3, 2023, we have 54 outstanding liens there.
Interesting.
Would it be possible for you folks to invest in invoicing by the web? either through email and doing less with the envelopes and the
Charging
mailings.
6 cents, but sending a bill for 6 cents and charging 75 cents is kind of, you know,
It
Non-productive.
doesn't make
not
sense.
cost effective.
Right.
Email
Email,
would be good.
Send me,
That would
your-
save a lot of
all
money.
right, send me your email address, stating that that's how you like to have it. I will do my
I have
best.
done that, but I will do it again.
Thank you. I might already have it in my system,
Yeah.
and then I can just send the emails out.
Yeah.
That would be great.
We use QuickBooks, I've never done this before, so my fear is that somebody's gonna get somebody else's invoice.
I get that problem with the US mail, so.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
Yeah, I think maybe
Exactly.
so all the
Then I
time.
guess we're good.
Not just my neighbors, other streets and other parts of the town, I
And the
deliver it
towns, yeah.
myself.
All right,
Those 54 liens, that's 25%, right?
Yeah.
but it's the
I'm just
same,
checking.
it's the same people that I'm leaning. These aren't,
And that means,
no, I'm just letting you know that the majority of these people are the same people that I lean every quarter.
okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Becky, with this new system, the increase,
Is it always going to be an increase, or is it going to be paid off within a certain amount of time?
No.
The process of
Things double.
sending out these letters
The lien,
certified. Is that going to pay itself off within a matter of time? Or are you getting charged $200 more in order to do this process?
I'm getting charged $200, we are getting charged $200 more a quarter, but we're gonna be saving $1.33 per letter that I send out. Right now, it's $8.69 to send certified mail
Per household?
per letter.
What he's trying to say is, what's the payback on
what's the math?
I don't know, I didn't figure that out.
But isn't that on lease? That machine on lease?
Both of these will be on lease. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know that we own the machine, I think it's on lease.
So we really don't know if you're saving money or if you're paying more money to do the process?
Well, Becky, didn't you say that the post office is trying to do away with the green cards entirely? If they're trying to get rid of it, then eventually we're gonna get forced to do it anyways. So I don't, what the gentleman's asking about the payoff, it's not a matter of when it's gonna get paid off, it's a matter of we're gonna have to do it, and in the long run, we're just gonna be saving, $1 something per. But either way, we're gonna end up having to go this route no matter what.
So would that be increasing our quarterly bill? Well, like, who's paying for this increase? Is it the VSD or is it the 200 households? Ultimately.
Right.
Ultimately, it's the households. I mean, that's how we
Right, it'll
pay
take,
for everything that you guys.
right.
I mean, Becky, you said it's roughly $200 per quarter. You're mailing out 90, on average right now, 90, you just said 93
Yeah,
letters. So we're talking, it's going to be an additional cost of roughly $100 a quarter that will just, get absorbed into the budget. And yes, what he's asking is ultimately it will get spread out to all the customers evenly.
okay.
But it doesn't cost you $8 for all 92 letters that you send out.
It cost me $8.69 per certified letter that gets mailed.
And how many certified letters do you, I mean, we should have a few numbers to,
Right.
just saying, oh, well, it's only 200. I mean, nobody's saying, okay, we send out so many letters per quarter at $8 and something. We send out so many letters at the regular postage. And coming up with how much do you spend, is it less than the $200? I mean, if it's less than $200, it doesn't make sense to go to this new system until you have to.
Okay, I just sent out 93 certified mail. this week at $8.69 each. That's $808 that I spent in postage.
Right, but this is gonna cost you more this way.
During,
At 93, it's gonna be around $120 more.
Right.
$120, so you'd be spending $80.
It's still gonna cost more than what you're getting back.
But Becky, don't we add that cost into every lien as well when they pay it off?
yes, postage is included in the liens. So the customer ends up paying it back.
Is it just this post office that's doing away with the green slips, or is it every post office? And when will that occur?
Every post office, I don't know when it's gonna occur. I was just told that it is, the post office wants to go electronic more than the green cards. And when I do the green cards, it takes me a day and a half or 2 days to get the envelopes ready.
So if you pay the extra $200 per quarter, are you still going to have to pay additional to send out those certified letters, or is that going to be included in that additional $200?
He told me that I will be saving $1.33 per letter, per certified mail letter that I send out if I do it electronic.
So that's what, 92 times 100?
I think it would be prudent to find out exactly when the post office is going to, draw the line, instead of jumping to something that's gonna cost more money until you find out when you really need to do it. And then, of course, back up for a couple of months so that you can get used to the system. But, if your old refrigerator is working, you don't go out and buy a new fancy one.
I mean, I'll check with the post office, hopefully I'll have
The
it.
lien is gonna be paying for it in the end, then the town of Vassalboro doesn't pay you that $8.03 or whatever.
But what if that person can't pay for the lien?
Right,
Then,
that just happened.
Then it will be done.
exactly.
Then I'll have to move out and
Yeah.
good luck finding the process.
All right. I'll put this on hold, I'll check with the post office and hopefully I'll have better answers for everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The quote for snow plowing and, thank you. Summer's not coming.
Clean up the pumps,
Yeah. Make,
side of the roads where the pumps are.
yeah, make sure all the pumps are shoveled out in the winter time. Are you agreeable with this price of $10,000 for the year?
Becky, did the same person do it last year?
Yes.
And how much was it last year?
He's adding about $350 more than what he did last year. Last year was $96.50.
Is it possible to take bids, new bids on the job? And try and come in lower? Get 3 bids and
He's pretty
take
low.
the middle one or take the less expensive one?
He has a lot to do. He does a lot for his money.
Well, there's probably others that will do that too, for a better price, correct? If people get to bid on it. That's how you get
Becky,
the
when
price.
do we have to approve a contract for this?
Well, it should have been done, huh?
When's the current contract up?
December of '23?
And is this person currently still doing the job without a contract?
Yes, he is. To keep everything open for us.
should be put out to bid in October.
Yeah, should have done multiple bids.
Don't wait till it happens.
That's what I did, search for a good price. That's what I would
That's,
assume that you would do to help the people that you're serving.
I said, yeah,
Pay them.
it's over a year and have to find a new club.
Right.
It wasn't got the best price.
providing that the services are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Price low.
that's, I guess that's something that concerns me, that it seems that you're really not operating as business, because businesses do those sort of things. And they don't send an invoice in the mail for 6 cents because the check was 1 day late. And it costs 64 cents to mail it. You know, I mean, that's business prudence.
And that was supposed to have been pulled, and I forgot, I didn't
But
pull it, that was
happened.
my error, I know, but it happened, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happened
It's happened
and,
before, I think for 13 cents or whatever the case may be.
you know, it's just, in order to be a business, you have to apply business principles. And I'm kind of taken back that those aren't being followed, and I know it's a lot of work. But, you know, if you.
But this is a big bill we're gonna be paying.
Right,
It's huge.
right, it falls back on
Bigger than
these
the whole state
people's
of Maine.
shoulders.
It's the biggest, by far.
Mm-hmm.
As I've talked to many of my clients, Presque Isle, Belfast, Rockland, they can't believe what we're paying. I'm just
Right.
telling you.
Now, how many customers do they have?
It wouldn't really even matter when you're talking Randolph, 80 something bucks for 3
84
months.
bucks for,
And this one here is paying, what, 600? That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That's like way off the charts. And that's all through the state of Maine, by far, we pay the most.
Then when they're doing that construction, you see 4 or 5 of them just standing beside the road doing nothing.
Not even a
It's
little.
like, why are you paying them
I don't know.
to work when they're just standing there? They state workers?
You know.
You know,
And
why
they're
are we
charging
paying for
63
it?
cents for
In the
6
long run,
cents.
I would stop and I would say something.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a minimum that is just given like a flat rate to start with on the gallons? Because I get the exact same amount
Yes.
every quarter.
You just use the same.
you just saying,
I don't,
We looked into that though.
I'm just wondering, they're doing it off water, right?
Right.
And is there a minimum that they only go to, and I'm using under that, so that's why it's always falling on the exact same number?
They're probably having that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm
better.
getting-
Out of the base,
Yeah.
and just,
Yeah.
the baseline, it's all 1 cent,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Then if you go over, then it's
I'm gonna start
a.
using more water.
I'm getting,
But then it's gonna cost you more in the sanitary district.
I get all my readings from Kennebec Water,
Yeah,
and then I go down through there, and whatever they have for cubic footage, that's what the
I-
customer gets billed.
yeah, I was just wondering, I was like, what do they do, take one reading and they're just using it over and over? Because I'm getting the exact same amount,
I don't know.
and my bill don't fluctuate, it's always the same.
I would call them, I would
That's
call them
all
on it.
I'm,
Do you have a new meter on your house? I mean, they don't come check it, that's all automatic, all electronic then, right? I'm assuming?
they came and put meters on when they did it, so same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Right, but it's
Did
so
tell
much
what-
money.
They can tell you if your toilet's
They-
leaking.
They're still doing a reading, they're just not coming to your house.
Right.
So it should, unless there's a minimum, it should change.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Ours does, but it's.
That's what made me believe that,
Yeah.
is because my number is not changing. It's right at 300 cubic feet.
I don't know what Kennebec Water does, as far as the reading goes.
Okay,
Sorry.
not a problem.
Okay, so, back to snow plowing and,
The guy we had that does all the mowing, is the same one that does all the town property. So, has
And that
a,
means what? That he's the cheapest
what's that?
and the best, the guy that does the whole town.
He does
He,
it,
he does everything, he's the best price.
yeah, he sets the price. So
He's
he
the
does,
He
best.
sets the price.
Yeah,
that's his price he gave us.
right.
Right, but is there anybody else giving a chance?
Again,
When they were looking
Big.
at prices way back, we've had them for how many years?
Right.
and then
You
she
should
brings
bring
it.
Then it's time.
He generally doesn't make much of a change, because he wants to be able to do everything and make it look nice. He's very particular about his mowing.
But others are too. My son does
We used to
that.
pay $80,000 for weeding the beds,
Yep.
just for the summer.
But just looking around for better prices, that's all we ask, to help our prices.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
all we're
then,
doing, is you're helping your people that are depending on you.
then you have the backup. You have the backup. If somebody says, why did you choose this person? Well, we went to bid here, here, here,
Right.
here, and he was the best product and the best price.
Ray, did I just hear you say mowing, so that's snow plow and mowing? That
Yeah,
price is
everything,
for, it's not
sanding.
just for,
Yeah.
for snow plow and shovel.
Right.
Okay.
That's cleaning all the pump stations alongside the road. And we got, what, 9?
I'd say 7.
7, okay. So there's 7 locations on the side of the road that be cleaned up. And then whatever comes off the roof at our building, it always piles up in front of the door. He has to chase that because it doesn't come off in sometimes 2-3 days. And then if you don't take care of it, you got one lump, you can't even get in.
So cheapest isn't always the best.
Well, that's true.
But it's just a thought to do it. Oh.
And you get recommendations, referrals. and-
Yeah.
It's
But
just what
it would
people
be nice
do.
to know that he's at least within
Yep.
reason of, we have no idea what somebody else might bid.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
That'd be
you
better
better at
if you
least
don't
put it out there, and somebody could do just as good a job as he is. And charge less. You don't know if you don't ask. If you just keep giving it to the same guy year after year after year.
Both sides.
Well, you gotta let them know everything that this guy does,
If
it's
it's
gonna be the same for the other one.
Right, so that's what you put in your requirements of what
Yeah.
is expected to be done.
And you
if
compare
do that.
apples to apples and you find out
Yeah.
what the best apple is.
It'd be good once in a while, Ray, just to do that, just to
Yeah.
see how if it's in line.
Like every other year, every 3 years even, I would.
Now, it's probably better than most people, but
Yeah, yeah.
thing going, you're not getting somebody from out of town, grabbing across the state, you're getting somebody local.
Yep.
Supporting him.
But you're already into the new contract at this point in time, that's.
There is no
that's what I
contract
understand.
right now.
You just said there was no contract.
He's working out a contract.
But this,
Yeah, really.
but you're into what's being proposed, you've already spent some of that money, right? Is that,
Well, I haven't paid
we're
him yet.
we're into the new year,
Right,
And
but the payments, the work that's been done so far is gonna come out of this new contract, right? The contract goes on an annual basis.
correct.
Yeah, I guess I would just recommend that you renew the contract one more year and then,
I don't think that's good. I
well,
would like
just
to.
let me finish first, please.
Okay.
I would just recommend that the board go with who you've got now that you're happy with for another year. You're already into the year. And with the understanding that at the end of the year, you're gonna put it out to bid or whatever, get different quotes for future years.
Couldn't you go approach it with a prorate? You pay off the
I'm
person?
just thinking, it's gonna snow tomorrow. So
Yeah.
we're gonna call this guy and say, well, we're not gonna renew your
You
contract.
wait till it's finished now, then you call them.
There you go, get it
You
all.
see what I'm
done.
saying?
I understand, but we're trying to see how you can cut costs.
right, for us,
Yes.
For
Yeah.
200 households that are flipping a bill for
absolutely.
$3 million of
Yeah.
200 households. That's
I
insane,
can't
but there's nothing we can do about it. So we need to pinch as much pennies as we can.
Absolutely.
not a year
Just
from
help it
now.
any way you can.
It's not,
That's what we're asking.
Well, I'm not on the board, I'm just making a recommendation.
right,
But it's gonna work because you are recommending that. It sounds like that's what you're going to do.
No, the board will do what the board wants to do.
Well, I hope they disagree.
well, maybe the board can hear us
See.
out because we are
Yeah.
here, we're speaking. I would like to see something happen now, not 10 months from now.
Right,
Or
right.
12 months from now.
I just want you to appreciate the implications of making a change right now. It doesn't seem like it's black and white.
And that's like, we're halfway, three-quarters of the way through the winter, why hasn't a contract already been made up anyway? You know, if I paid my sewer bill late, I'm gonna get a late charge.
Yeah.
You know, same thing, why isn't a contract already up? December, the contract ran out, it should have already been taken care of.
Like in October. Yeah,
Exactly.
right. As a business.
Yeah, I think
Why
we're
let
all in
overlap?
agreement on that. We wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yeah. But here we are.
And I think what I'm hearing the group say is just as a practice, as a best practice moving forward. Like, if you're managing, I understand that you guys are a quasi municipality, but that essentially is a government instrumentality in its own right. And when you're dealing with federal funds, OMB obviously requires a minimum of 3 bids for any contract work. So I think what I'm hearing the group ask is that moving forward, if you would adopt that as a best business practice to obtain bids for any contracted work, just so we can ensure, that it is competitively bid, because that's the entire purpose and point, is to make sure it's competitively bid. And I think that that's all I'm hearing folks ask, is that in instances like this, the best practice is utilized.
Thank you.
So I'm just gonna ask a question first. So this contract is for, when does it expire?
There's
The one that you're talking about. December of 24?
Yes.
No, it already expired.
I know. But
It would have, yes.
So it's December of 20. So my suggestion would be you could put it out to bid, pay him from this amount, but know that, okay, if you have to pay him $200, then you have $9,800 to go towards the new contract. If it doesn't go that high, that's great. And if you don't choose anyone and you stay with this guy, then he's got the full amount.
Right.
So you're not really losing anything, but you could be gaining some.
Yeah, but you can't really tag somebody along like that either. Storm to storm. But I would suggest if you're gonna do it, pick a midway point, maybe June, put it out for contract, pay this guy half the contract right now, sign a new contract till June and then put it out for bid.
Good idea.
Or a year, and then the whole thing, then put it out for bid.
Well, isn't it for mowing and plowing, so.
Yes.
Right, so you either do 6 months or a year. I mean, you're not gonna tag somebody along.
Right.
I mean, just you'll quit on you.
You gotta put it out to bid a couple months before the contract ends. You can't wait till June and then you're right.
It would be April.
Situation we're
It should be
in.
April.
If you say we'll do it for a 6-month period and then you need to realize 2 months before the contract expires to put it out for bid or however long it takes. I don't know how long it legally has to be put out or how long.
Well, if the fiscal year ends on December 31st, it makes sense for the contract to be for the fiscal year. It's just easier than having to have to allocate between 2 years or 2 contracts.
Yep. So what are you gonna do?
Just see if they'll sign a 6-month contract and then put it out to bid for another 6 months and then.
If I may say something, my curiosity would be, say we went ahead and only offered him a 6-month contract, we would have to go back and ask him, request a contract just for the first 6 months, because I'm sure the breakdown of plowing versus mowing is not 50-50.
According to your budget, it is.
Right.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
It's
Your budget
57,
says it
60,
is.
and your projected 2024 budget for each item.
Right.
But if we put it out and give him a 6-month contract, by that time, all of the other people that mow and do whatever already has a full customer base?
Not necessarily.
necessarily.
Some people go out for contract in the summer, some people go out for contract in the fall. I'm just, you've been doing it on your fiscal year, and I think that's a smart idea. But these people who go out to do this,
How come we don't have?
they know how,
We
they know how to say, okay, if I'm
Whether they
doing
can
a
do it.
year, then I prorate it monthly.
Okay, yeah. Mr. Branch?
Yes.
That's still a problem.
I've learned a lot this evening from this discussion. My problem is we had a high bill, and we're gonna have it again. And the other thing I'd like to mention, we seem to have some very knowledgeable people. Next time there's an election for people to put in for those jobs, get the board working, they need somebody else to help. It's laying on too few people.
Yep.
I spent 2 years doing it. And it ain't that bad, one night, month, something like that. And I did the bills besides.
Did you have, when you were on the board, did you have anybody that worked in the office at all, or did the board do all the billing and everything?
Jan, Petey, Jan, the town clerk, I can never think her. Jim? No, the gal.
Kathy?
Kathy. I keep wanting to call her. It's something else. She made up. It was all mechanized through the computer. It probably is. But between her and myself, we got the bills up. I sent out a few names, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So I think I fell on deaf ears. But there's some knowledgeable people, I've got to say. And you got to contribute something. There's not much pay in it. But I've been on several projects for this town. And I'm pretty proud of some of the things I've done. And you can too.
Yes. No, you can reach out. One question I have is I noticed that in previous years, there was not a line item for payroll. And now you have a line item for payroll and taxes in your new budget. And I'm just wondering, who is that for? It's for you.
I am the only employee, and I am an employee because I am using the sewer district's computer and printer and all that.
Now, should you be on the board?
No, would you like my place?
I don't live in Vassalboro. So I can't. Yeah, it's your charter, and it's like either be on the board and hire someone to be your finance person.
No, we take her off the board. She's still our financial person, and we just get a new board member.
Well, you
That's
can
how
do
we
that
work.
too.
Because what she knows,
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
lot that she's
Yeah,
got that.
I understand that, but you're already missing one board member that you haven't replaced, and now here's another one.
Well, I'm not gonna step down until somebody wants my position. I just.
Right.
We don't have enough on the board for me to feel comfortable enough doing that. But as soon as somebody steps up and says, I'd love to be on the board, and
There you go.
these board members approve, I'm more than happy to stay in the office.
Have we ever explored, I mean, looking at the budget, you know, the administrative payroll, quarterly taxes, the projection for 2024, that's $90,000 right there. And then when I just did a quick down and dirty look at the budget, it was about $35,000 in associated costs to run an unmanned office. So if you add those two line items together, that's a good chunk of change.
That's a lot.
Have we ever gone and gotten an estimate for what the cost would be to do all this, but farmed out to another organization? Because that's $120,000. I'm just curious if it would be most cost effective to continue doing business this way, or to hire out that component of the work versus having an unmanned office and an expensive $120 annually.
But that's a good point, though. I am going to be retiring in 2025.
So
So-
things have to start moving. Yep.
It's just a suggestion to the board. I am going to be retiring, Ray.
Not before me.
And I'm not coming back, Ray.
Yeah.
Can you get me a list of, do you know of anybody
At
that,
one point, someone had mentioned, is it the Rural Water Association? I haven't done any research yet in terms of like who potentially we could be looked at, but I can do that for you.
I know Maine Rural Water takes care of East Vassalboro Water Company.
Oh, right. Okay, so that must have been the name that I had heard.
Right. But I also do, I do everything in the office. So I don't know. It can be checked into.
And again, it just falls under that kind of putting things out to bid, looking at, on every 3 years or so, just a rotational basis, where can we save? Are we doing this with the most competitive contractor or bidding process? I think that's what we're just.
Lee, you were going to say something?
I was just going to state that you, Becky, you go above and beyond, and you do far more things than what any billing system would ever do for us for the value that we get it for.
Thank you.
How many hours a week do you work?
You want to ask her husband?
How many hours a week do you guys
Easy.
work?
Too many. When she takes and works a 7-day week from
Yep.
4 in the morning until 2 to 3 in the afternoon,
Yep.
that's too many hours.
Yep.
Happy now?
Yeah, we gotta do it to pay bills.
But
Yeah, we gotta do it to pay bills.
I'm on
that
salary.
and
I'm on
everything else that
salary.
you people have asked for, that woman does it.
Somebody has to do it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You guys want a lot of answers, she's looking for them.
I've been in the county, I know what it takes.
And I also do inventory. I also do ordering chemicals and being there when the truck comes if Raymond's not available. What else do I do?
You got an audit coming up,
Yeah, I got an audit coming up. Yeah,
you do more than you need to,
so,
but it keeps the company going. I'm retiring too.
um, okay. We do have a new board member request. Is she here, Lisa Miller? Hi. Did the board get a chance to look at this? Lee, what's your take?
I read it, and I think that we have to. Are we in the public meeting, or are we still in the middle of our regular business meeting.
This is our regular business meeting.
Well, I mean, I think it needs to be, we need to discuss it amongst the board privately. But, I mean, I'm glad we have one applicant.
Anybody else interested in that position?
Nope.
Is there anyone else?
Hey, it's great, you smile.
You smile. Been there, done that for a lot of years.
Add a few more.
Yeah, what would you use for criteria, Lee, for evaluating someone other than that they want to do it? Which is more than we've had for the
Yeah,
last several years.
I would say I don't personally know the person or anything about them. Other than that, I mean, I've never held any other board, but that's not a big deal since we've been looking for so long. So, I mean, I guess I'd be willing to take a vote if we want to accept that person onto the board.
Are you a notary? Would you be interested in becoming a notary? Because all of these liens need to be notarized. So I always have to come up to the
I'm a
town.
notary, and I can help you out anytime you want.
Oh, you are?
I'm on Oak Grove Road, I'm right down the street. I can help you anytime, no charge.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, did you say the board was meeting an executive session in next week or something like that?
No, the select board meeting
select board.
executive session next week. No,
I was thinking that if you do want to just include the board, the existing board, that would be the time to do it.
Ray, what's your take?
I'm fine. Vote on it right now.
Al, what do you want to do? Oh, I'm sorry.
Not too many standing up to the position.
What do you want to do? You with it?
I think she should be associated with what she has to do, and it isn't that much.
Right.
You think?
And thank you, Lisa, for stepping forward. Huge.
All right, I'm gonna make a vote to have Lisa on the board. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, so.
You're supposed to make a motion, and I'll second it.
Okay, I make a motion to have Lisa on the board.
And I second it.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Super.
There's a chair up there just for you.
I was.
I mean, I believe she can be appointed to the board until that particular board seat is up for the term is up.
Well, it's gonna be the vacant seat anyway, so.
I know, but usually the board members, we have 3 or 4 year terms, and then we rotate them so that there's no chance of the entire board being done at the same time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can look into that.
They have 3.
You'll figure that out.
Signed contract.
I would say it goes 2 people 1 year, 2 different people the next year, and the 5th person the 3rd year, and then they recycle again.
Actually, I think that your charter reads 3 people, and then 2 people, and it swaps off.
Yeah, there's just been no one to swap with.
Okay, does anybody else want to be on the board? And take my position?
She can move it down.
What's that?
She can get good, on that road, she can move on.
Right. Well, he's not.
Yeah. Has a representative from the town itself ever sat on the board? I just wonder if maybe someone in that capacity that had kind of inside knowledge of TIP and things of that nature, if having someone represented and could relay that information. I didn't know if that was ever part of the structure or not.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think we've had that discussion in the past because we did have a town employee on the board.
I thought that I had heard at one point.
And that was apparently not allowed.
Oh. For the charter, I think you're right. Yes.
I don't remember the details, but yes, it would be per the charter.
Okay, in the charter, it also states that if I'm on the board and an employee, I cannot serve on the board unless it's voted on.
Right.
Correct? So do you want to vote to keep me on the board for now until somebody else is found? Or do you want me to step down, or?
I nominate Becky to continue to do what she's doing until we find a replacement.
I second it.
No, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Doug. Why don't you come on the board? You don't do much at nighttime, do you?
Retired. People don't wanna hear me.
Well, we are.
Not where I could go.
Okay, so this vote is temporary for me to stay on until we can find somebody else. Okay? And I'm gonna make sure that it's temporary. Doug White seconded the motion.
Who seconded?
Doug White.
Didn't sign in, but.
How can he second it? He's on the board.
Don't matter. He's
The Vassalboro resident.
Yeah, he's a Vassalboro resident.
He's gonna be voted by the board.
I know, I'm just kidding.
They're trying to get me on.
Did we get a second?
I second it.
Ray seconded it.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah,
Very good.
Oh.
Get back on.
thanks. All right. Okay. Richard, can you update us on the installation of those pumps to go into North Main Pump Station? Have you been in touch with Hoyle and Tanner?
I have, and they have sent the plans to DEP for their approval. So the plans are complete. The way the plans were set up is that it appears there may not be enough funding left in the loan to pay for the entire project because of this need for adding a new generator. And so they've set it up so that that can be removed from the contract. And we're just waiting for DEP's approval to go ahead and bid that out.
So we're putting in just the pumps and not the grinder, is that right?
That would be the way that it's set up right now, if it's removed from the contract.
Is that the big grinder we got in the garage?
Yes.
Have you reached out to Hoyle and Tanner to see if we can get that grinder sent back, or they can bid it out or something? I mean, if we
Tanner doesn't know the answer to that question, but if we're gonna bid it out to put it in, then we can't get rid of it. But you're right, if we don't need it, it would be nice to send it back. I think it could be used as a duplicate of one of the ones that's in one of the big pump stations.
That grinder?
Do we have enough power to run it?
That was the issue with the generator.
Oh, the generator may not be big enough to run that guy.
Right, there's enough power at the pump station, but not when the generator's running.
So we had a problem at one place where a lot of stuff was sent down the pipes, and it would choke the grinders and plug them, and how many times a week, twice a week usually average?
It happened today,
There you go.
and it happened last week.
Yep.
And it's actually improved lately.
Yeah. Suspected a certain family, they moved on, and that's the problem really stopped, almost stopped. But they still get us stuff.
Is it just wipes and stuff, or are we getting clothing through it still?
Looked like a picture.
Right, yeah.
That was his sweater.
Yeah,
Oh,
little
my
teddy
God.
bear, I mean, it's like everything comes down the pipeline.
That's,
So we all pay for that. It's not
Oh,
cheap.
really?
We have to have a truck that pumps it out, and then people get suited up to the wind. And it's quite a little process, day job,
We've been getting the Central Maine Disposal to respond to these emergency situations, and they've been pretty good. I contacted them today, and within an hour they were over there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The person that, I don't know your name, sorry. Connolly Enterprises, is he here? No.
I think he would be.
Okay.
He's laid up with some medical issues at home.
I'm sorry?
He's laid up with medical issues at home, I believe.
Oh, okay. He built that house on Priest Hill and connected into the sewer, and he needs to sign off. Richard needs to see him so that he can sign off on the permit, that's all. Richard, did you call Rytech Environmental in regards to having those flow meters calibrated?
No.
Can you put that on your list to do that as soon as possible, please?
I'll put it on my list again, and I will try to remember to do that.
I'll call you every day.
He won't answer. When I see you walking by, I'll ask you if you called him.
Would you please?
I will.
Okay. Lee, do you have anything that you want to add for anything?
Not at this time.
Okay. So,
So the town garage, one of the guys called me today. I guess he didn't know about the pipe going across Priest Hill. He was notified about it. They put that drain pipe. And I told him, I said, well, the engineer was there to making sure things were connected right and flowed right. And we took a bunch of dimensions to make sure we don't lose track of that pipeline, the new pipeline. But the town wasn't notified about that, so it was a surprise to them. And I said, well, usually I get, where's the line block here? Dig Safe, they usually call or leave a message saying they're doing something here, and do you have any pipes? I don't remember ever getting anything from them, so I don't know if they went through the proper channels to, or they just hired that company to put the pipe in and just go for it.
Do you have any?
I believe that they were a little bit short in deciding because of the weather that they wanted to do that, and they didn't contact the town. I told them they needed to contact the town. They did contact us. And so I guess I had assumed that they did contact the town, but it sounds like they didn't.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, what happens in that case if they don't contact the town to let the town know that this is being done?
That's something I'm currently looking into. The town doesn't have a street opening permit or any permitting type process. Some towns will have that. They'll require somebody to go through a particular process, pay an application fee, that kind of thing. I believe this happened on Friday, so
Yeah.
it came as a surprise to us. They just went ahead, cut the road, much to our dismay, and have put cold patch down, to have a cold patch is my understanding. My other understanding is that in the past when this has happened, the town has expressed to that person that they basically need to maintain that. But again, that's something I'm still looking into because I have a number of questions that need to be addressed.
Okay. So there's nothing else that we need to do though, right? I mean, this kind of unfortunately falls back into your court.
I can't answer that. Again, I'm still looking into it. It just happened less than a week ago.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Does that conclude the meeting?
That completes the meeting.
Okay, I have to excuse myself. I look forward to watching the recording.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
What was
Thank you.
decided on
Thank
the
you.
snow plowing
See you, Lee.
contract?
What was that?
I asked what was decided on the snow plowing contract, if anything. Just gonna continue as is without a contract, or what's going on?
Somebody here, this paperwork.
No.
So yeah, this, everything he does on this paper. And down at the bottom, it's $10,000 for the year. It's 1/1/2024, dated.
You're gonna get anything cheaper than that, I can almost guarantee that.
What's that?
I said, I don't think you're gonna get anything cheaper than that,
No.
I can almost guarantee
He's-
that. People probably charge you to give an estimate.
Not always.
He's very good.
You still
sure,
have to do
but
your
it
He
is
does a lot, and
diligence,
he-
you
he's
know,
always given us a
even
pretty
if
good
it's a
break.
pain in the ass.
It's just bidding.
Yeah.
I do have a couple questions. So if you are allocated the 200,000 through the TIF request, what will that do to our bills? Will that come off debt service? How will that be applied, and how will we feel that relief if you were allocated TIF funds?
It's a drop in the bucket, it's $3 million.
But if it's for this year, I'll take whatever I can get.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what would
Yeah.
$200,000
Every penny
do
counts.
for us?
Prices won't go up.
Okay, so we don't know.
Sorry.
Roughly, okay.
I
Because I
think that money, the TIF money could only be used to offset the cost that the district is paying for the debt service. So there's two loan payments, one current, one that's coming up. And what do they work out to, about $120,000, something like that?
Yeah.
And the reason I'm looking at my phone is because I did calculate what I thought that was worth for the district for an annual bill, but I can't remember now what it was. Did I sent that to you, Becky? I don't know if you have that, or if it was in an email that I sent. I calculated that out.
Yeah, but trying to find it in my computer is gonna take the rest of the night, I think.
Yeah, probably more efficient than me trying to find it on my phone. But I imagine that it is here somewhere. I don't think it was a substantial amount, but it was less than $100, probably.
Yeah, because if our debt service, if I'm remembering correctly, it was like $127 a year. And if we get $200,000 this year, that covers the entire debt service for the entire year.
For this year, yeah.
For this year. So, I mean, that would essentially wipe out our bill, so, for this year. And give us some breathing room until a larger scale plan or federal funding or anything else can be explored.
Right.
I don't think we're gonna get federal
Well,
funding.
there's
for the
something.
project. Yeah.
No, because it's already been done.
And
Sit,
Yeah,
dig
but
it up.
because it's such a large
Yeah,
amount.
take it
there's
out.
something
That's right.
that they
Do over.
were Trying to get after the fact.
Yeah.
This is something I should have done before the project, but The paperwork still has to be filled out, I believe.
So Erin, can you speak to when the town will have a decision about TIF funds? I apologize, I didn't know what you had said earlier.
We're meeting next week
Next week?
with the attorney.
Okay.
We've asked VSD a number of questions that have been addressed through the attorney. I've asked our attorney to meet VSD's attorney, so we can
And is
kind of
that
get on the
booked
same
prior
page with
to
the number of
next
questions we
Thursday?
have.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Is anything scheduled to occur prior to the meeting next Thursday as far as getting that information and those attorneys together?
No.
Okay, because it really feels like I mean, I don't know how many people sitting in this room, but this is not a sustainable bill for me.
Exactly.
And so,
Absolutely not.
I mean, the conversation about what happens if there's default, because you guys, if you've issued 54 outstanding liens and the 60% increase has
Already.
not
That's gonna be
hit,
100%. It makes sense.
is
that-
there a discussion about what happens if default occurs? Because if you can't get the money, if you can't get blood from a rock, and if you can't get it from us, what's going to happen to those
Right.
loans? I mean, we're in a bad place here.
Right. And it feels like there's no help.
And
That's
so,
how
I
I
mean,
feel,
to hear
you know?
that there's a meeting next Thursday to have a TIP conversation, wonderful, that's great. But let's get the attorneys together or get the information
Right.
from both parties together prior to this meeting, because $200,000 in TIP funds can bail us out for another year so we can stay in our homes and pay our bills.
So this process started 3 weeks ago,
Yep,
okay, with the attorneys. Meaning that we've asked our attorney to reach out to their attorney. That was 3 weeks ago, tonight. So, that's,
I mean, we're both
We're
sitting
working
here,
on
right, we're both sitting here right now, is there
What's that?
anything that the VSD needs help with collectively
It was in
putting
January.
together? I mean,
Right.
attorneys cost money, we're sitting in the same
It was in
room.
January when we had that executive session. Yep. So,
Do you guys need any assistance collecting what they're looking for, or, you know, do you need help pulling
With
things
that,
together?
Yeah.
Right.
What's the block
Design
for getting the
people.
information from both parties in the same place?
having the time to put it together, sorry.
Well, I bet
I
there'll
know.
be some people that would
I know.
have to. Me for one.
It's all TIF related right now, so I started it. And this is what I'm going to be working on until my audit comes due in 2 weeks. I'm in hopes to get it back to Aaron next week. That's what my goal is, so that the select board has time to look it over.
Is there a window? I'd hate us to miss a window for those TIF funds, because right now I feel like our only prayer for this
Is that-
calendar year are the TIF funds.
Right.
Because I don't foresee, from what I'm hearing, any federal money coming through. There's all this conversation about the new transfer station. I'd hate to see all the TIF funds scooted somewhere else and us miss a window.
yeah. So, we have to make sure we're doing it right, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
We're waiting on legal.
After that,
I have a couple questions. First of all, the next billing, I am assuming that you're going to prorate from where the November bill left off to the end of December, and then have the new fees going forward, just like you erroneously charged the new rate for the past. It should be prorated across that 6 weeks. And then the new rate go in effect January 1st. That's the way it has been voiced and written for it.
Just making sure that that's what
Yeah.
you're planning on doing.
My plan is to leave on the, what's this, February, on the April billing, to leave the prices the way they are right now.
Oh,
Depending on,
that's even better.
depending on what the TIF, the result that we get from the TIF. We may have to, there may be maybe a 5% increase, I don't know for sure.
That's what I was trying to get at. It's like my bill was $637.
Yes,
And then I got another bill saying that, oh, because of the adjustment, it was actually only $400.
yes.
So where'd that $237 go? Is I think is what she's getting at, the difference that we paid already.
Right.
I already paid my bill in
and
full
moving
for
forward.
the 637. But now
Okay.
it says I only owed 400
Right.
with the 237 bills.
That's sitting on your account, and that
It was
will be,
gonna be wrapped in
that
the
will be
next bill.
applied to your April
I think
billing.
that's what she's asking.
Well, actually,
Oh,
I was
Oh, yeah,
asking
right.
something different,
That
but.
too, but-
Yeah.
it sounded
That
similar.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, so any credit balances on the accounts will be applied to your April billing.
Okay.
Also, what made you folks raise the finance charges up to the maximum allowed? I mean,
The late charge.
right, late charges. The town of
charges
Vassalboro
5.
doesn't charge 8.5. And now what you've done, or assuming that what's gonna happen is everybody's rates are gonna go up, you're gonna have more people who are gonna be late trying to get the money, and then you're going to be siphoning more money off from them at 8.5%. I mean, you can't get that from the bank, so.
Right.
We have, okay,
Who decided that?
Right.
that was the state of Maine treasurer.
No,
That
the
is,
maximum was the state of Maine treasurer.
Correct.
you can go
You
up to
folks
that.
can go up to that.
Right.
But why? No one else charges that interest rate anywhere.
Okay, we have not increased to 8.5%, we're still at 4% interest.
Well,
Right
it's not on your paperwork. All of your letters have said
8.5%.
8.5%.
You
Yeah.
will go up more.
will increase.
They are. From 4 to
From
8.5.
4 to 8.5, effective with the April billing. The finance charge will change yearly to the maximum state allowable. So if the state goes to 10%, you're saying, okay, then we're going to 10%.
On people that can't already pay their bill.
Already pay their bill.
The
That's really,
only thing I can say is that is what has always been done in the past.
Why did
we're
we-
charging
we have to vote.
4%.
You were paying 4%.
Right.
The
Who
state
decided
didn't go to
8.5%?
8.5.
Who decided that?
You don't have to charge the maximum.
Right.
It's not a requirement.
Right.
I think what we're asking is to stay at the 4%.
Absolutely. You know, who decided?
We
that we-
appreciate you informing us that you can go to 8, but we're asking that you please
You
stay at
don't.
4.
Right. That would be very helpful.
I get 5 properties, fine with me.
Yeah.
Well, you're paying.
That wasn't the intent.
You shouldn't have to own half the
Comply
town.
with the state law, wasn't it? So it was my understanding you were just complying with what you were required to do.
No.
No,
Required. It says you can.
doesn't mean you have
Have
to.
to.
It's your
Yeah,
choice.
so,
right,
so
so-
if that's the case, then I don't think the board particularly had a desire to raise the rate. It was just an intention to comply with the law.
I just want to make a comment that these things that we've identified this evening have created a distrust of you folks.
Understandable.
Absolutely.
You know, it's mistake after mistake after mistake. And I would have lost my job if I had made those mistakes in that short period of time. And I'm not accusing anybody, but what happens is the distrust goes up.
Yep.
The questioning goes up.
Yep.
The angst goes up.
200 people are depending on you.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Man,
You know,
what are the
hopefully-
mistakes that you're talking about? I didn't hear anything
Well, you
about
just said the one
mistakes.
8.5%, and we're gonna stay at
Right.
4, and you're saying that you had to do that, which actually no,
Which is not.
right? There's that.
There was the
Right,
incorrect
that's-
billing.
Billing.
That's a mistake.
Okay, but the billing came
The
out,
billing came out the
Well,
wrong
that
estate.
wasn't a mistake. The board actually raised the rate and then decided, after receiving a lot of comments, that they would not raise it after
It was
all. I-
Actually, by
I
law,
was-
you have to give
hold it.
30 days to appeal
Yes,
once you vote.
exactly.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
We-
actually
we-
statutory.
We voted, it was only 3 days. I was not aware that you had to wait 30 days. I have a lot about government that I know nothing about. I
Yeah.
apologize for that.
And
That's
then
why I
there-
backed everything out and put it back in at the old rates.
And then last year, there was a hearing after the increase, which you
Right.
have to have your hearing before you take action. So there's
Becky,
three.
Once again, you know,
So that's three I can,
plus the big increase of 60%.
in the
still.
increase.
And people aren't really being told other than maintenance and upkeep.
And it
For
has to
something
be.
that was finished when? In 2020, right? I don't understand what that's for. So when we're asking for that information, you're not providing it. There's some more distrust.
Yeah.
It's just, we'd like to know what we're paying for.
And how long is the increase gonna last for? How many years?
Well, then it goes up 5% every
After
year,
that.
year after that.
Eternity?
Yeah.
You're not gonna live that long, is what I
No,
was.
just-
No, that's what I was told.
Eventually, we're gonna be forced to move no matter what.
You know, but that's just.
And then Vassalboro's gonna be a ghost town because nobody can afford to live here.
Wow.
Just in town.
Just in town.
Just in town.
I'll go live in a shack, I guess.
Oh, we might have to.
And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I mean, you guys live in town with us. You're paying the bills too. I mean, you have to be feeling the crunch of this as well. I mean, we're all in
We
this
do.
together, and I know it feels very adversarial, but we are all in the same boat. And I empathize with the fact that you guys have all this work. But we just, if I can help in any way, you know, the reality is though, we have folks that can't pay the bills.
Right.
And it doesn't matter that we have the debt service. If you don't have folks that can generate that incoming income, you can't meet those loan obligations.
Right.
So I am not trying to be adversarial, just trying to have a very real conversation about what
And I
occurs.
don't either. I just kind of, I express myself a certain
I get
way.
more angry, but she's like very smart. you know,
I'm
so-
I'm speaking for both of us.
But what
It's
does
just they
happen
have
though
those
if
clients
folks
that
can't
can't
pay
pay.
these bills and if the
And
income
someone's
isn't
talking
coming in
gym
for that
membership,
debt
they
service,
lose out.
what happens at that
Rent an
point
outhouse,
in time?
shut your water
If we
off,
can't
you
pay
don't
our
have your
bills?
sewer bill except for the hookup.
My understanding is if we file bankruptcy, if the sewer district files bankruptcy, it's 2 different chapters that we can go under, and we still continue to operate.
Yeah. Right.
Until,
Is there any option for restructuring that debt with either RD or under that clean water money?
we are with rural development.
You're restructuring the 30, is it the 30 year?
We haven't closed on that 30-year loan yet, for the SRF loan. We don't close on that until July this year.
Do you have, and I've asked you this before, I'm just curious how that was underwritten, because the projection for the bill being so high, being the 60% increase, I'm just surprised that an underwriter would have approved that, given kind of the socioeconomic climate here, what we look for as an area median income for our citizens. I'm just, as a citizen paying the bill, I'm just like, how did this loan get underwritten? And I know that the work had to be done, and I know that you guys are in a precarious place. It's just, how did we arrive here, and how do we, as a community,
Fix it.
so that we can all stay and pay the bill and not have to sacrifice medication or, you know,
Who's at home?
taking,
Right.
less showers, because that's really what's happening, and we're hearing from some of the citizens,
I hear them.
is it's altering their lives in ways that,
I do their hair. Yes, I hear them.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
so we're coming to you, as your neighbors, not to point fingers, but just, how do we fix this for all of us?
I don't have an answer for you, I'm sorry.
Why can't they put this on the whole town of Vassalboro?
Because they don't want to pay it.
That,
Why can't they?
that has to go to a vote. That's gonna have to go to a town vote.
Yeah.
Why not try?
Wow.
What's going on with RCAP? Are they still evaluating? Have they come up with any suggestions at this point and recommendations?
I talked to her today, and she was gonna get something out to me, but I guess it didn't get to me in time, so I'm not exactly sure. Once I get that information, I can put it on our website, so you can.
Was it about like an alternative funding source, or what was the nature of what she was?
It was more to do with the clean water and where the swim hole is clean and you can swim in it and.
The improved public
Right.
purpose and
Yeah.
environmental impacts that benefit everybody in the community versus just the 200. Okay. But for what intended purpose? Is she giving that to us to supply to someone, or?
I don't know if she really has any suggestions for us as far as help goes.
Is she authorized to speak with citizens in town?
I don't believe it.
Okay. I mean, would you object? I would be more than happy to be in contact with her to try to organize like maybe some of her suggestions to relay back to you since you're so busy. Is that something I could be helpful in doing, or?
Is that something that the board wants to do?
Sure, more the merrier.
Let me reach out to her, because I'm not exactly sure.
I just know that this is kind of her specialty. I mean, if you look up their organization online, like they get involved with communities to try to come up with solutions, and it sounds like you're inundated, and you know, if I can help facilitate conversations or bringing information back and forth, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay, let me reach out to Lori and see what she says.
I nominate the new board member right there.
No, it's not. It's a conflict for me.
I'll second that.
Need you.
All in favor, she's
All in
the.
You're the new one, you're taking my place, come on over, Megan.
I don't think I can as a conflict for my employment. But I'm really concerned about facilitating, getting the information from the BSD to Aaron's folks prior to that meeting, because these TIP funds really sound like this is going to make us or break us for this year. And I know you've said it's in the hands of the attorneys, but I'm more of like a boots on the ground type of gal. Like, we're sitting here now, they charge $400 an hour. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but how do we as citizens help facilitate rationality happening and the conversation occurring to get a yes or no answer if we're going to be allocated TIP funds?
How many phone calls have you made to the attorney?
So it's just having the attorney determine if this is an eligible expense?
We're waiting on questions from VSD.
Okay.
We need answers to those questions.
Okay.
To see how the TIP district
Intends to use them?
we need to connect the dots to see if we can release those funds. I mean, you just can't ask us for funds. The devil's in the details. We need to know, why are you asking to use those funds? What areas did you use those funds in? Mm-hmm. Right? And if they can show that to us, then I think it can get put on the table for discussion.
Okay. And Becky, do you need a second set of hands helping with this, or again, how can we help facilitate getting information between the two parties?
The other sheet that I'm working on, I'm a quarter of the way through it. So.
It sounds like you could help her.
I'm kind of getting there. I'm going to work on it some more tomorrow.
If you find that you need any assistance or just need a second set of hands or whatever, you know where to find me.
Yep,
That's nice.
I do.
And she's
My
all-
boss will you.
My
What's that?
she's all-
Letting me their time off.
Aaron, if we received TIF funds before for debt service, has something changed in the whole TIF program?
No, it hasn't changed at all.
Okay, I thought I had heard somewhere that they were opening.
At the state level, like statute, or?
Well, no, but
local level?
they were like opening it up a little bit more for other funding,
yes,
so.
I thought, yes, at the state level, yeah.
Oh, so I didn't know if debt service had gone out the window with it. Of us not being able to get debt service.
No, it did not go up.
Okay,
And we've requested 200,000. How much is remaining in your allocation? Like, is our request exceeding what you have available?
279.
279, okay. Do you anticipate any other requests coming in for TIF funds?
Yeah, we do. We have a bridge that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Which is estimated to be as much as $1 million.
So you're not going to start construction without funding?
Our expense could be, early numbers right now could be about 200,000 with grants and working with the state.
Mm-hmm. And does that need to be completed in calendar year 24?
The bridge?
Yeah.
No, I believe they gave us a year before posting.
Okay. Do you receive your TIF allocation on a calendar year, or is that like a June or October? How does that fall?
No. Yeah, well, that's right. It's at tax commitment time, which is usually around September.
Could the VSD themselves be eligible to apply directly for TIF funds, where they're a quasi-municipality?
They did apply.
But you're kind of the pass-through entity, is my understanding. Could they apply directly to receive TIF funds?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding the question.
I kind of view you as a pass-through for those TIF funds.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Instead of having to be in competition for other projects in the community, could they apply?
Right. Yeah, one of the hangups is that the state's Department of Economic and Community Development looks at how we spend these funds. And so in order, before we, look at whether or not the board is interested in releasing purse strings, it's important for us to understand if it meets the requirements, whether it's state statute, local ordinance, and what does DECD going to say when they look at it.
Yep. Is that Deb Johnson that you work with over there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give Deb a call.
Okay, so. Raymond, can you give for the people that might not know why we cannot connect from Echo Ridge to East Vassalboro Pump Station? That is only a force main, it's not gravity fed at all.
Right. The lines that will run from East Vassalboro to North Vassalboro, those are pressure lines. You do not want to be on one of them. The pumps are big enough to fill up your cellar. Some you don't want to be on one of them, pressure lines. So Echo Ridge is as far as the gravity feed line goes, because the pitch from here to, well, that's actually where they have, goes down from each side of it. And we don't have a collection system on this side of it. So the other side, it's a gravity all the way down to Main Street. So those are automatically could be added on, but anything in between that, because we don't have gravity working for us, and you can't connect to that pressure line. You could, but you would have to have a big, because we got big pumps that are pushing, miles underneath the road work. So the 27 or 28 houses, whatever it is in between there, it's not like you can be house ready. You're not going to connect onto that line. And it's like that down the other end. If you know where June Day used to live, that's the end of the gravity line there, just after Lockman Titus. There's a little bit of a crown. And that's as far as we can collect. That's as far as we can collect with the gravity. Everything's pressured line to Winslow. Did you find out, or did you call Winslow to find out what was going on at the trailer park?
I did not call Winslow, but I talked to Richard.
Yeah, okay.
And Richard doesn't think that there's gravity. We didn't put gravity line down there, correct?
No, there's a pressure line.
No, there's a line in place that was put in during the project that would take a pressure line from the trailer park, but they can't get in by gravity. They're at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, no, it'd be a pressure line.
So they'd have to put in a pump station and run a line through that. It's really just a conduit to slide another line in, and it would come out in that manhole at the top of the hill.
So if they're doing something to their septic system, do they have to get a permit or something to do that? from the town of Winslow?
It sounds like they did one side and then the other side or something, I'm not quite sure.
Well, in their cases, in my opinion, that they're in the service area of the district. Because the district spent money to put in that line specifically for the trailer park in the future.
Yeah.
So like you're telling people that are on the gravity line, they have to tie in when their system fails. I don't know if you can stop Winslow from doing anything, but I wouldn't give them a permit from the town of Vassalboro to do anything.
Yeah. It's like the park is divided in half. One half's on Winslow, the other half's Vassalboro. And there was heavy equipment down there, so I don't know, there was something going on.
That's been sold, by the way. That trailer park's been sold.
The
So-
others might not know.
All right, I'll reach out to them tomorrow and see what I can come up with.
So Becky, I apologize, I might be a little slow on this. So last quarter, those bills have been issued with the corrections. And our first quarter bills will be issued in April of this year. Now, in April of this year, what are we gonna see are you holding off generating those pending confirmation about TIP funds? Or what can we expect to see for a percentage increase with that first quarter billing in April?
If we don't get any answer from the town in regards to debt service, I was thinking a 5% increase.
Okay, so we will not see the 60 in that
No,
first
you will
billing?
not see the 60. I cringed when I had to send those out.
Thank you for saying that, because
Oh my
I feel
God.
like there's a disconnect sometimes between I'm like, she can't feel good about this, but that's never been communicated, so I really appreciate you saying that.
I didn't sleep and I didn't eat for almost a week.
Yeah,
It was just,
that's sad.
Yeah, I mean, we were all feeling it in the same boat.
Thank you for saying that, because I don't know if anybody in town has
Heard any of that?
heard that, or, put like that connection to it, so I appreciate you sharing.
I've heard the other.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, I have a question from Zoom. Is the sewer district pipeline repairs due to the recent flooding across the Kennebec River going to get passed on to VSD?
No, that's federal.
Yeah, it was in the newspaper recently.
The district pays Winslow according to what Winslow pays for their charges to their customers. So if their rates go up, then the district's rates will go up as well.
How does that work for us? Do we have a contract with Winslow, so are we like locked in for like a 12-month period? You know what I mean? Or is that a moving target that they can charge us whatever they want to? How does that work?
It's a 50-year contract, I think, or something like that, 100-year
Yep.
contract.
And are we locked in at a specific rate, or how is that language?
Well, you're not locked into a particular rate other than the agreement is that Vassalboro will pay the same user rate per gallon as the Winslow customers do.
Okay, so it's across the board, we do pay the same rate as the Winslow users?
Yes, but the reason that your rates are so much higher is because you've got the overhead of also maintaining this system in Vassalboro.
It is a small.
So your you're paying what Winslow pays plus the cost of operating and maintaining this system.
Maintenance of that must have gone down tremendously though, with the, getting rid of the fields and all that. Did you see the big difference in that? As far as the maintenance costs?
I don't know that I've compared the budget, but since your rates are going up, I have to assume that the costs have gone up. They haven't gone down. Some costs have gone up. Some costs were eliminated, but there are now, a big part of it is that fee that you pay to Winslow each quarter.
How much did you pay for, when, they go to the pump station and get whatever, plug that up, what's that average a visit?
That can sometimes be a $2,000-3,000 bill depending on.
And that was like average twice a week?
That's horrible.
add it up, I mean,
Well, that's a pretty typical charge, is it, for going over there and unplugging the pump station.
I'm trying to get my machine up.
I know when there was a major issue in the street last summer that and we had to have somebody, we had to call them, they came right over and fixed it.
Yep.
And that was a significant expense. They had to arrange traffic control. I think Raymond and I were out flagging traffic.
Yep.
During that, and they charged quite a bit for that job, but I don't think they typically charge more than $1,000 for those. I don't see the bills, so I don't really know.
All the problem you had, Raymond, was any rentals of where people live?
What's that?
All the problem you had with these grinders and stuff, is that the rental?
Well, there's a lot of, the horseshoe, that area is, where the.
Get that permanent residence, they would be all liable for it.
That's where I think our trouble's coming from.
This was a rental, though, that was causing the issue.
Is there any way to determine?
And when they
There's no
moved
way to
out, it was
determine where
like, boy, did that slow down our visits over there. I mean, we still can get it, but they take pictures of it, and if you saw what it looked like at the end of that, it kind of gross you out. It's like,
Didn't they mail those to us? Yes,
I did.
In our mail.
oh, you did
I
get
did.
some?
Oh, yes, we did.
That's right.
I did, I just wanted
Pretty gross.
everybody to see what we see. You good?
At the risk of being redundant,
I should have done it.
okay, if you're talking now about a possible 5% increase, but the rest of 2023 is still going to be prorated at the old price, old cost, right?
23.
Last year, because the January bill was through 11/23, 11/22.
But that December.
So we still have from 11/23 to 12/31, that should still be at the old rate. And
Which
then-
was,
Pardon?
no, go ahead.
And then whatever new rate you come at with the 5% increase would start January 1st. Because everything's written effective.
Right.
2024.
So I'm thinking that the April bill's probably gonna stay the way it is because of the change in 22 to 23 or 23 to 24.
Okay,
And
that's
then we'll
fine,
go,
and we would definitely appreciate that.
and then we'll go depending on what happens from there. We have to pay rural development in July. And we've got about 2/3 of the money right now. So I am in hopes that we will be able to get some relief from the TIF to at least help with July.
Yeah,
Is the meeting, Aaron, is the meeting that you're going to have, is that going to be public?
We'll be meeting in executive session, so that won't be open.
Are you holding a meeting after that or no? Is it strictly for
Yes.
executive session?
Well, we always, so protocol is we enter executive session, we come out of executive session, there could be some discussion, there could be a decision, I don't know what's gonna happen after the executive session.
Okay, but you're still gonna have something after your
Yes,
normal.
we have to, yeah.
Gotcha.
We have to adjourn in open session.
Oh, I'm still new to this. Okay, so we're gonna keep the interest rate at 4%?
Yep.
Okay. And if I hear something from the TIF before anybody else does, I can put something out or,
Becky can tell. She said she'd tell.
Yep.
Yep.
We'd really like to see that.
and if we could get a list of people with their email addresses, then you could just send, boom,
Yep.
a notice out, and it wouldn't cost any money for postage or envelopes or anything.
I think I got that in my system. I think I did that one day.
Yep.
And I sent them all out, and I had like half of them come back because the addresses were no good.
That's maintenance.
That was,
That's
yeah,
care.
I don't know. See, I only get it when I get like a new customer or something, and they send me the paperwork.
That's care and feeding, you just have to follow them up and.
Yeah, yeah. So, are we all set then?
Becky, I have one last
That's okay.
question.
You gotta go.
Whatever you have decided this evening, will that be posted on the Vassalboro Sanitary District website? So other people can look at it and see
Yeah.
what you've come to, what the decision has been made
Yes.
from this evening?
Yes. I may not get it up there tomorrow, but it will go on the website.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
When's the next meeting? Yes.
For us?
Yeah. Okay.
Hang on.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. March. Be March 21st.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
March 21st?
Yes.
Is it going to be open like tonight?
My understanding is everything's open now.
Okay,
I-
is it going to be here, like tonight?
Um,
Or is it going to be at the sewer district?
well, we don't really have the room for the sewer district, so we're probably gonna have to hold it here. This is providing the select board doesn't have a meeting that night. If they do, we're gonna have to change hours.
What's the date, sorry?
March 21st.
21st.
March 21st, yes.
Yeah.
I have a question for that lovely lady over there in the green. What is your name and what do you do? You very much interest me.
Oh, really not that interesting.
No.
I'm Megan. I live on Main Street. I've been Evan's neighbor for 21 years. And I work for Maine Housing.
Main house, okay.
I manage assets.
All right, thank you.
Well, we can set her in out there.
Yeah, you know,
Miss you around for a while.
do it.